Hi, just wanted to share with you a really useful strategy or just something you can have at the back of your mind whenever you're interacting with a child with selective mutism that is going to help to pitch your communication at the right sort of level for them. It's called a graduated question sequence, and it's just thinking about the fact that some language and some questions are going to be much harder for a child than others. And actually, there's a really nice gradual progression if you're able to stop and think about it, that will actually help you to pitch things at the right level for the child that you're working with. So let me just see if I can screen share and bring it up for you so you can see what I'm talking about. So hopefully you should be able to see it here. Perfect. I'll just put that on full screen so you can see it. Lovely. Okay, so first of all, I'd say whenever you're interacting with the child, until you've built rapport, try your best, basically not to ask any questions at all. So this is even before we get to any questions. What I want you to be doing is just commenting. Okay, now this is a real challenge because we do not realize how much of the time we just instinctively ask questions. And do you know what? Particularly if the child isn't talking, we just instinctively think, or don't think, should I say, we don't think, we just kind of blurt out all these questions, even if they're done in a really nice way. So, for example, we might say, Steve, what have you got there? Oh, what? It's really interesting. What have you got there? Oh, did you have that at home? Did you bring it in with you? Now, that is fine, to be asking those sorts of questions. But for a child with selective mutism, all the questions asked in a really, really nice, friendly way can seem too much, because what it does is it expects them to answer. Okay, whenever there's a question, there's an expectation that the child's got to answer, and that is when the fear comes. Oh, they don't expect me to say something. They expect me to say something. Oh, I'm stuck. I'm frozen. I don't know what to do. So instead, let's just take the fear away of talking. Let's just take it away from them so they can feel relaxed. Because the more relaxed they feel, the more likely they are to actually speak anyway. So let's just take that away by removing the questions. So instead of asking all those well-meaning, well-intentioned questions, just replace them with comments. So you might say things like, dinosaur there. Whoa, that's scary. Oh, I don't think I'd like that one near me. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, no, that looks great. That looks really interesting. Oh, wow, those are sharp teeth. Oh, okay. Do you see what I did there? I just changed all of the interaction into commenting about what the child is interested in rather than asking questions. Okay. Once you've built that kind of rapport and the child's feeling more relaxed, then you can move on to this graduated question sequence. So start off, and so you have just been asking comments. Now, what you're just starting to do, and I don't mean to do it all the time, still mainly keep your comments, but every now and again you can throw in a rhetorical question. Okay, so your rhetorical questions, so they're the sort of questions that don't require an answer. You're just kind of throwing them out there. The child knows that they're not really expecting to answer, but they could do if they wanted to. So those are the sort of things like, oh, this is fun, isn't it? I like this. It's really a question because, you're saying it's fun, isn't it? But you're not really expecting the child to say anything. You're just kind of talking to yourself in a question and answering it yourself as a question. Sometimes you can leave it blank, but it's not expected that the child's going to say anything. So therefore the pressure is off. That's nice for them. Okay. The other really nice thing that you can do with rhetorical questions is, so rather than saying, oh, what's that? Okay, very direct question to the child that the child expects to answer, you just add this little phrase at the start. I wonder. What is? I wonder what you're going to do with that. And then it just changes it to be sort of more of a, oh, I'm wondering about that. I'm wondering if that's going to happen. It's kind of talking to yourself in a question. And what you might find at this point is actually maybe they just said something because they're not feeling the pressure of having to answer, but the opportunities are there. So that's a really nice one to do. But you just ask these rhetorical questions, okay? Move on from there. Once they're kind of participating with you, they don't have to say anything, but just participating with you, you would move on to the next stage of question. So the next stage of question is pointing. Okay, so that's where you might say, oh, can you see where the car's gone? And they're able to point. It's right there in front. It has to be something that is there in front of them so they can actually point and show you which one they mean. So, I can't see it. And, make it as believable as possible because they don't want to play along with your game if they know that you absolutely blatantly do know where things are. But where it's gone. Can you see where I put it? Where is the car? Will you show me? You see it? Okay. Or anything that's kind of show me. Oh, how about you, Natalie? Can you show me which one's the yellow one? You point. You show me which one. Yeah. Or if they've got a choice to make for snacks or whatever it is, which one would you like? The biscuit or the crisps? Biscuit or crisps, and just let them, hold them out to them so they can point and show. And what that does, it moves them on in their interaction and their communication with you, because they're actually involved in that communication. They are pointing. That's better than them not doing anything at all because they're frozen and they're so scared that you're going to ask them a question. That's great. But we don't want to keep them at that level. We want to kind of keep going. So once they are doing the pointing, that's when you can move on to the next question level, question number 3, which is the yes, no answers. Now, you're not expecting them to say yes or no at this stage, although they might pleasantly surprise you. At this stage, what we'd expect is that they would start to nod and shake their head. Okay. So rather than asking, would you like the crisps or the biscuit? This time you can just ask them, do you want the biscuit? And if they nod, then what you do is you treat it, and you do this for the pointing as well, but you treat it as if they had talked. Okay, as if they had said it, you totally accept it. You don't try and get them to say it. You don't say, okay, here you go. It is absolutely accepted when they nod or shake their head. Okay, so you might say something like, would you like the biscuit? Yeah, you would. Okay, there you go. Or, oh, yes, you would. Or, oh, no, you don't like that one. Okay, right, let me see if I can find another one. Okay, so you say the yes or the no for them, kind of as if you've heard it, so they can see that communicating works with you and you get it, and there is no pressure to talk. Okay, so already they're starting to feel more relaxed. Okay, so we're at this stage where they are completely non-verbal with you, but they are kind of nodding, shaking their head. They're communicating their wants and needs. That is a great position for them to be in. But again, we don't want them to stay like that. We want them to move on so they feel comfortable actually using their words. So we need to think about what is the easiest next step, okay? And the easiest next step when they are feeling ready for it is for you to give them number 4, X or Y choices. So it's going to kind of like, would you like the milk or the biscuits? That's an XY choice. But before, they were able to point at it to show you. Okay, but now you're using questions for things that maybe aren't around them, that they can't point to, so they have to use the word. Okay, so do you see the difference between the last step and this step? In the last step, the yes, no, they could just, yes, I would, no, I wouldn't. Okay, but in this one, yes, no isn't going to help them out. They kind of need to make a choice between one or the other. So you're away from the kitchen this time. Oh, What did you want water or milk? Which one? I couldn't remember. Okay. And you're just putting it out there. They could answer with words if they wanted to. What did you want? Did you want milk or water? Now, the reason why this is the first step in helping the child to communicate with you verbally is because they've already been given the answer. They can't go wrong. They can't make a mistake and get the wrong answer. There's no problems with them finding the right words or the right way to say it. You've given them the words. It's either milk or water, so they get it. Okay, you've made it as easy as possible. Now, they might not be ready to verbalize with you yet. That's fine. Mainly go back to the stage before, just the nodding and shaking. But what I'm saying is, just when they are doing the nodding and shaking, every now and again, just throw in one of these questions. So things like what we got in the examples. That one over there, would you call that yellow or green? Oh, I always get confused by those two. What would you say, yellow or green? Okay, and then you can pause for a few seconds. Sometimes these children just need a little bit of extra time while you are smiling and showing them there's no pressure. And then you can answer the question yourself. If they don't answer it themselves, you can answer it yourself. Yeah, I think I call it blue. Yeah. Okay. And then finally, do your factual sort of questions. Okay. So those single phrases. So that is when you can start using the, ooh, what have you drawn there? That's interesting. Or, oh, what game did you want to play today? Okay. They just require a short answer. Okay. So they're not like big open-ended questions. But you see how they are number 5, and quite often what we will often go in with is these sorts of questions when we're first talking to a child or young person with selective mutism. So we want to just get this in our heads. Which level am I at with this child? Are they pointing? Are they nodding and shaking their head? Are they not interacting with me at all? Because that will tell you where you need to start with them. So I hope that's been helpful. You're welcome to ask me questions if you have any. Great, thank you very much.